Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of JLU International Festival of Media and Design. This is Mariyam Shahid in conversation with Mr. Ashish Kulkarni, India's leading animator and founder of Punnaryug Artvision Private Limited. Sir, a very warm welcome to you and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, sir, I would start off with my first question, which is, what are some big changes that you have noticed in our Indian animation industry in the last decade and how do you feel about those?
I think one of the key factors ruling the Indian animation is the discovery of original Indian content, which a lot of people were very unsure about. And one of the unique things that I believe Indian animation is today proud of is it can actually create content end-to-end, ideation to script to screen in the smallest budgets with a reasonably good quality. But the same artists, when they work on the international shows, they can actually create, the world-class quality of animation. And I think this is a unique ability for any country, that you are able to be into the services business and the IP business at the same time. And I think in the last decade, the whole emergence of the integration of this technology, creativity, and also the fact that India realized through the national education policy about inclusion of creative arts and performing arts and design into the curriculums, I think would be a game changer, according to me. So if you look at the last decade, this decade has been truly unprecedented for the animation industry to grow in multiple folds. And what we discovered through the COVID times, that a lot of youngsters went back to their small villages and started delivering from there. And now the industry is not only the tier 1 city centric, but it's also delivering from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. And I think that's what the emergence of a true combination of, on one hand, services versus intellectual property. On second hand, it is metros versus the rural combination. The third part is, high-end projects versus, limited budget projects. Both are handled at the same time. So I think these are the times that the industry has matured to a great extent.
Very insightful answer, sir. So you mentioned curriculum. That brings me to my next question. You strongly advocate for creativity to be imbibed in our education system. But how do we achieve that? And where exactly are we lagging?
See, if you see for the last 75 years before the national education policy, we wanted to become an industrial nation, and the first education policy that was there, we actually gave a lot of importance to science, mathematics, and the commerce, because the industrialization required that. Forgetting that the creativity intervention in individual's life brings a lot of balance. And I think till the 12th grade, we never had marks for the creative arts, performing arts, design, sports. And I think that's was something which people had a complex if you want to make a career into that area. And I think today, with the modern times and the younger parents and kids exposed to the global ecosystem through the digital medium, have realized that making career in the creative arts, performing arts, and sports, and also design is a very interesting one, and I think they can achieve their goals. But my belief is that starting early in life for all these four verticals, whether it's creative arts, performing arts, design, or sports, is very important, because if you see legends, they pretty much started when they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And because we didn't have an encouragement for these people through curriculum, They had to do this in the extracurricular activity, and they had to do something else to come back to where they liked their things and pursue their dream. And I think those obstacles will get removed in the next few years as we integrate the subjects from sixth standard onwards, which is allowed through a national education policy. I believe it should be from the KG onwards, but then it's a welcome sign that we are now going to have a pathway like you do physics, chemistry, mathematics to go to engineering, physics, chemistry, biology to go to medical. You're going to have a pathway to make your career in storytelling, your career in filmmaking, your career in animation, your career in gaming, your career in performing arts, or your career in sports, or you're going to be a UI UX designer or a product designer. So you're going to have a pathway created now, and there is a level playing field now between science and commerce along with arts. So I think it's a very unique combination, and I think these things are opening doors to a lot of new combinations, because I believe every engineer and doctor and chartered accountant also has to be creative. So it's not about, if you go by the dictionary meaning of creativity, it's not about artistic creativity alone. It's about the way you think and way you find solutions. And that's what design does. So I think it's important in the lives of every professional in whatever field that they actually try to pursue, their excellence in.
Absolutely agreed, sir. So you mentioned storytelling. So what's your one quick advice to all those aspiring storytellers who wish to master the art of storytelling?
Well, I personally believe that anybody and everybody is trying to tell a story, whether it's a nation, whether it's individual, whether it's a state, whether it's an institution. Like JLU is trying to tell its own story. You're trying to tell your own story. Your teacher is trying to tell her own story or his own story. Your parents are trying to tell a story. So every cricketer tells a story, and according to me, it's not only about the films that are telling story. The films, the stand-up comedian, the television, the OTT programs, the ad films are evolved form of storytelling. But you're telling a story of your life. So I think most important thing to understand is that you need to craft your story very well. You need to think about what you're going to do is going to impact people in what ways. Second thing is, I think everybody's talking about artificial intelligence a lot. But I think most important thing for a storyteller is to become emotional intelligence specialist. Because when you tell your story, you bind people by emotions. They are sitting into, watching your story or experiencing your story because they are emotionally involved. And I think more people in the world will be affected by emotional intelligence than the artificial intelligence. So I think one should tell the best story of their life, and one should make sure that it's a strong emotional story and it is a well-crafted story so that the story is remembered beyond your existence. Gandhiji told the story of his life. He told many small stories through, the salt satyagraha to many other Bharat Chodo Andolan and many other things. These are short stories and there is a long story of his life. He is not there today, but we still remember those stories. And because they had an impact, they had a connect with us. And I think that's the crux of storytelling. So whatever story you tell an impactful story, well-researched story, so that it can be remembered beyond your existence.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words. I believe the knowledge you shared with us today will enlighten many, many minds. With cameraman Uday, this is Mariyam Shahid signing off. Keep watching Lake City Live.